Jamie, how many Frankenstein movies are there? There's got to be like 400 of them.
Probably a million,
Yeah.
honestly.
So as you can see, if you're watching
Jamie's
us on
joining.
YouTube, Jamie is with us today because he was all like, I got to talk about Frankenstein. Because we're talking about the brand new Del Toro version of Frankenstein currently
Yes.
available on Netflix.
Yes.
Gene, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Frankenstein's been done a lot of times, like Jamie said. I think Del Toro had to be very careful, in making this, because if you don't make it right, your movie's just going to be made fun of. In the same way that it's really hard to make like a story of like the medieval knights of the Round Table, because you just think of Monty Python, and then this thing. Any version of Frankenstein, unless you're careful, you're just going to be, oh, that's just straight out of Young Frankenstein, And so Del Toro had to be really careful, and something, he totally pulled it off. This movie it's a Netflix. The economies of Netflix allow it to have super high production values, and this thing does. It's a great movie. I really love this movie. I mean, it has everything going for it you want in a movie. Except for Roger. I'm sure Roger's mad that it's longer than 85 minutes. But
Oh, dear God.
just don't pay attention to that, Rogers. Rogers watched Silent Night, Deadly Night every
Which
year.
is great, by
Every
the
year
way.
for 10 years, which is like 800
Oh, every
minutes.
year for 40 years, Gene.
So you watch the movie. It's fantastic. There are so many deep underlying themes here. Just one of those movies that just makes you think. It's just good stuff. So yeah, watch it.
Jamie, are you recommending this film?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they made it really beautifully. It's definitely one of those longer movies, but I feel like it feels like kind of like a breeze sitting through it because they have it in those sections. So it felt just like, I don't know, but just how they put everything together and the whole story and all its themes and also the characters and everything feel like you just watch it super easily and it's great.
Like what do you mean sections?
Well, there's like the first part, which is like the present, and then the second part, like Victor's tale, and then the third part, which is the creature's tale. It's in sections.
Yeah, this mirrors the book in that it's like a story within a story. And so first is, like Jamie said, it's present. You're in the Arctic. And then they stop and they narrate the past. So it's a story within a story. And yeah, and I love that you get the different perspective, the Victor's tale, creature's tale. Yeah.
Okay, very good. I'm also recommending this film, even though I'm never watching it again, and I don't really like it that much. Gene, get into some of the deeper themes going on here.
Yeah, there's so much going on. Of course, a lot of it dealing with creation. When you're dealing with creation, what does that mean? That means we're talking about God. And I just think it's just so interesting is that I'm going to jump to the very end, but the creature is just tormented because he doesn't know what his purpose is. And like, it talks about words. The creature is troubled because the creature's word is Victor. And the Bible talks about this, and I'm actually going to read part of the Bible, from John 1. It talks, the Word became flesh. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not only thing made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. So the word here is, they're talking about the Word of God, the Bible. But for Victor, for the creature, the word that he knows is not God in the sense of, the God, the deity, the God of the Bible, like John, which I just read. No, to the creature, God is his creator, which is Victor, which is a total aberration, because you can't have just a flawed man be God. And it just leads to a lot of just great problems, which really point to, in a way, it's a great metaphor for as humans, our relationship with God. And, Yeah, it goes into some really deep stuff. You know, Jamie and I were talking about this, like themes of fatherhood. But we'll talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, it's just really great stuff.
Well, and I'm going to piggyback on what you just talked about there, because if you remember from the 1931 Boris Karloff Frankenstein, there is the often censored scene where he's Henry Frankenstein, I think, in that movie. But once he's created life, he's like, now I know what it is like to be God. And they excised that scene.
Really?
And it wasn't yeah, because, we can't say that.
We
can't have that. And so it's interesting you would bring that up. Jamie, give us some more in-depth analysis here.
Oh, goodness.
No pressure.
With this, I think while watching, I just realized Victor's stupid. Victor's really stupid. I mean, he was so determined to create life his entire life that he couldn't think of what to do afterwards. I mean, you have to really... Of course, he's a scientist, and I feel like if he was an actual good scientist, he would have prepared for after the creature was created. Or what if it turned bad? He didn't think about any of that stuff. He just thought about creating life, no matter what. Like, it could have killed him, like, right then. Like, he never would have known. He should have prepared better, because he's kind of stupid.
Well, and isn't that kind of like basically a bunch of different horror movies where there's somebody who's so obsessed with doing a thing but doesn't really maybe even expect that thing to ever happen, and then doesn't know what to do once that thing happens, right?
Yeah.
You know, Killer Bees is a good example. Hey, why don't we
I don't know that movie.
No, but why don't we, mutate these different bees and get better honey, and instead we've
course.
created bees that kill everybody, right?
Yeah. Love it.
So to me, the biggest issue I have with this movie, well, actually, I'm going to back up. I have a lot of problems with this movie. One, of course, is the 2.5 hour runtime, because there's a character in here played by Mia Goth, who I've called Mia Goth one of America's sweethearts. She is completely unnecessary and wasted in this entire film because her character is wrong. Netflix is making a big deal about how this movie is very faithful to the book, which is not true.
No, it's not.
And it's specifically around one of the major egregious failings is the Mia Goth character. The runtime could have been tightened up considerably by not having her in this movie at all until the wedding sequence, which is also not faithful to the book. And I don't like how her character interacts with the creature. That is not how the Frankenstein novel works on any level. And I just really like I say, I'm never going to watch this movie again. I also will say, even though Netflix has billions of dollars to throw into a movie like this.
Yes, they do.
The CGI sucked as far as the wolves are concerned. That wolf scene was unnecessary.
Yeah.
And again, it's unnecessary. That scene was unnecessary and has nothing to do with how the novel is structured either. I also
do not... two wolf scenes.
I also do not like the fact that in this movie, the creature is this indestructible thing. At one point, he is holding onto lit dynamite, which blows up in his face, and he's completely indestructible, which of course is counter to everything that's happening in the novel. And so if you go in having never read Frankenstein, and because of the propaganda that is being perpetuated by Netflix and maybe Del Toro a little bit, that this is really faithful, it is not.
No, it's not faithful. But I would say that the length doesn't bother me at all. That you can tell that the production values are high. There are two wolf scenes. You can just tell the CGI it's just not right. But it goes along with the story. The wolves, they go and they kill the blind man, and also so it kind of fits with the story. I mean, I give the movie a pass on that. So
it's
okay.
The 2.5 hours is just way too long for this movie based on what I said, where you've got unnecessary characters going on in here, some unnecessary scenes that I could watch Boris Karloff's Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, which are great movies, and still have about 15 minutes left over to go do something else in the time it would take me to watch this thing again.
Yeah.
But anyway, a little bit off track. I'm still recommending this movie, of course. It is of high quality. Christoph Waltz is also in this for a half an hour, 40 minutes. He's pretty interesting in this. A lot of the sets are really kind of cool as well.
Yep.
Jamey, what else you got with Frankenstein?
I mean, I think 2 hours and 30 minutes is not even that bad. I feel like it's kind of like a
Jamey, you're one of those young guys that assumes all movies have to be really long now.
No, well, not every movie has to be long. I just feel like a movie like this kind of movie with all these things going on in it, I feel like you have to make it a little bit longer so you can get your whole entire story down. I mean, okay, now looking back at it, the whole the Elizabeth character was kind of like she was kind of just like there. It seemed like
right, which is why I'm saying she could be removed from the film and you're not losing anything.
I'm going to disagree with both you guys. I think the Elizabeth character is central to the happening of the movie. The way that this movie digresses from the book is in the book, the creature is much darker. He's a premeditated killer, whereas in this movie, the creature has redemption and he's much lighter. He has actually very good qualities, and you root for the creature. You want him to do well. He ends up killing people. You know, he because he's turned to rage against Victor. But still, you still root and you like the character. This character is not as dark as in the book. You know, and some of the themes that I really to address that he can't die, and it just goes back just because you have God, you know, our God, you know, like Christian God, and then you have Victor. So I think there's a parallel there, and I think because you look at religion today, and people are always talking about being saved, right? You want to be saved. Well, saved from what, you have to ask. But in this way, the creature kind of is saved because he can't die. He's been saved from death. You know, Victor has had victory over death. So the creature can't die because he's been saved from it. Because Victor thought death was something to be overcome, something that was intensely negative and had to be vanquished. And so he was successful. And so one of the things that the creature has to really deal with is he has to deal with, you know, his lack of, you know, mortality. You know, I think that in the end he does that, and I think he does that in a very interesting way. And I think, Jamey, I'm going to highlight your point, is that Victor didn't plan for what to do if the creature lived. And you kind of have to think, again, going back to like, there's a Christian God, and over here's Victor. So you have to kind of think, maybe, did our God, the Christian God, plan ahead for what to do after he made Adam and Eve? Because you kind of look through the Bible and you look at our present state of humanity, and we're kind of, I'm just going to say it, we're kind of a shit show. So did God plan ahead for his creation? Or did he just create us and just say, oh, whatever? You just kind of have to wonder. And the same thing, Victor did the same thing. He created this creature, but then he didn't nurture the creature. He didn't raise him. He didn't bring him up correctly. He just left him in bed, and actually he tried to kill him. You know, so, and then the creature only gained like his humanity when he forgave Victor. So he forgave Victor. And then he could, you know, he could be human. He could feel the warmth of the sun on his face.
So I think it was Azrael, that episode that we did where we entered the Church of Gene, and we've done it again apparently today.
Well, I'm just saying this is such deep thoughts. You know, it's like because there's parallels, and it's just a way to talk about something heavy. You know, God and Christianity. It's presented in a different way, and so it makes you think of these topics. So I love it. Love it.
Very good. Jamey, what else you got?
I mean, I think since I think with him the whole undying thing, I noticed a parallel between him and myself, because since I've been a teenager, I've been like because you know, like you see teens in movies, and or sometimes we think that we're like unstoppable or like we can't die because we're at the peak of our lives. So sometimes I just think, like, I don't know, just Frankenstein's like maybe in that point in life where it's like he just can't die, I guess. I don't know. It's just a weird little parallel I see a little bit. And
So you're saying, Jamie, that I'm well past my peak of living.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, Roger, you're an old guy.
I am an old guy.
And
You guys
kind
are
of
both
like
old
I
guys.
was making fun of your Chiefs. The Chiefs, had their day, but they're clearly on decline.
God, So we're going to the Church of Gene, and then we're also going to Gene's football podcast, apparently.
But Jamie, yeah, I like that. Yeah, because teens, I'm an old guy. You think about your mortality. You don't think about mortality when you're a teen. You go to your raves and you're in the mosh pits and you're just loving life, dude. That's awesome. But am I going to go to a mosh pit? No, because I would get hurt. It's just because I'm an old guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah, go Jamie.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay. That's all right. That's also a part of being young. You forget what you're going to say sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, amazingly enough, it happens when you get old, too.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Sometimes as you get older, more and more it happens.
So the other thing I don't really like that much about this movie, especially how it plays out with the book, is one of the key elements of the book, of course, is when Frankenstein's creature demands that Victor, Henry, etc., creates a mate for him, which would play into Gene's whole storyline that he just told us about with, if this creature is going to just be eternal, wouldn't it be nice if there was somebody who could also be eternal with that creature? And of course, in the book, he starts creating this bride for the monster and doesn't finish it, of course, because he's aghast at what he's doing, which then sets up the whole sequence with the wedding night and all that. And I was just very disappointed here that it was just, nope, I'm not going to do that. End of story. Off we go. I don't know why Del Toro was so fixated on making his movie 2.5 hours long with a bunch of unnecessary stuff, the Mia Goth character, and wouldn't put in one of the key elements of the book.
When Victor and the creature were talking about that, it felt like that they were talking about it. Then he was like, no, and then it just moved on. It just like left that little part. But I mean, I think it was an interesting point to bring up because that's of course what the creature wanted, and I think it had to be brung up honestly because he has to have a partner to go and to be with him. This is his entire life because if he just can't die, that'd be terrible. Just being by himself. So it's just I agree with Roger. They should have maybe delved into it a little bit more.
But I also think that because they changed the creature's entire dynamic, and Gene touched on this, where in the book, the creature is dangerous, very dangerous.
Very murderous, premeditated murder.
Murders a child, frames the nanny or whatever for the murder. She gets hanged. He kills that bride and stuff like that. And so I just didn't like how this movie forced it down your throat that, Victor's the monster. It's not the creature. Victor's the monster. They say it twice, I believe, in this.
Yeah, Victor is the monster.
The novel is much more ambiguous as to coming to those kinds of conclusions. And I just was not very happy with how this movie played out.
I'm okay with that, Roger. The movie, it works on every level. I mean, the length is, who cares, right? But super high production values. He couldn't make another creature because he blew up his facility. And Victor, he was lied. He killed people and he lied about it. So he clearly was, the monster.
Right. They're just shoving it down your throat.
Yeah. And going back to Scott, our movie producer who sometimes is with us, his line is that, you don't have to give the audience everything. It would be nice maybe if they let the audience choose. Like, who is the monster really? Is it the creature or is it Victor? I think it's pretty clear, Victor is the monster. He's the one who pursues the creature. He's the one who shoots the Mia Goth character.
Right.
Yeah, it's just his...
Right, again, just forcing it in your face, right?
But I think he's played well. You know, it works. I mean, it's a flaw, but I can move past that. Yeah.
The movie does have some decent gore going on as well, if you're squeamish at all about that. But of course, he is stitching together a corpse to reanimate. So there's a nice scene of sawing a foot off and stuff like that.
It's like an entire like montage you see in a kid's movie, just like sawing legs off and stitching things together. So
we're a horror movie podcast, so it definitely fits within the realm of horror.
For sure. Gene, is this the best version of Frankenstein you've ever seen?
Well, that's a big question. I don't know if I've seen them all, such that I could. But you qualified that best that I've ever seen. Well, actually, I kind of think about there was this TV movie of Frankenstein. I remember it from when I was a kid. But again, the Frankenstein was a very dark kind of creature.
Was it Frankenstein, the true story, where he starts out really handsome and then he decays over the course of the...
That's it. See, so you would know that one. But I really like this one. I think it just, even if it gets a little preachy, but, I really like its analogy and its talk about, creation, its necessary topics of God and fatherhood. And ultimately it's like, how do you overcome terrible things that have happened in your life? It's forgiveness is an essential ingredient in that, for people to move forward. So it's good stuff.
I feel like also another thing that a big move that they put in this was generational trauma, because the dad, when he was teaching Victor how to be a student, he would hit him, of course,
which is not in the book either.
But that just adds another little thing to it. Yeah. I feel like that was a good little addition, because then, of course, Victor would then hit his son, the creature, for just when he was trying to teach him to learn. So it was exactly what his dad did to him, which of course he probably wouldn't want, but he ended up doing it. He ended up doing it anyway.
Yeah, and the movie does spend time going over that, right? Because Victor's education under his father. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it spends time going under that.
Just more examples of unnecessary scenes that didn't need to be in there, and you could have pared your movie down to an hour 45.
I think it's okay. I think all that happens under the Victor's tale, and then there's also the creature's tale, again, within the framework of them being on the ice. And then in the end, it's again, the creature is good in a way. Yeah, I'm just going to say, that the creature is good. And then he explains his side of the story. Victor dies. They come to, the creature forgives him. And the creature gets breaks the ship out of the ice and allows and it was completely stuck. And it breaks it out of the ice and allows, that ship and all the crew members to sail home. Yeah. So he saves all of their lives. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a good guy, that creature.
He's definitely done some messed up stuff too.
Jamie, have you seen a lot of Frankenstein movies?
I've seen this one and the original Boris Karloff one, and I think that's it. Actually.
And is it fair to say that you much prefer the Boris Karloff one?
No.
It's not fair to say that. Okay.
I think I prefer this one, honestly, because I really like how just everybody does their job in this.
Okay. Right. So you did not like Colin Clive's hysterical overacting in Frankenstein? Which is just beautiful.
That movie was also really beautiful, and I thought it was cool, but I didn't like how it ended with them burning on fire.
Well, you have to watch the second one. Because really, you watch Frankenstein and then Bride of Frankenstein together, because basically they're just one long story.
Okay, got it.
The movie should stand on its own, Roger.
Well, it does obviously stand on its own, because Frankenstein occurred, and then 4 years later was Bride of Frankenstein. But if you watch them back to back now, it's a very pleasant experience.
Gotcha. And when you watch them both together, it's probably about 2 hours.
No, what I said earlier was you still have 15 minutes left over that you could go do something else in the time it takes you to watch this dang
2
movie.
hours and 20
The original
minutes.
The Boris Karloff Frankenstein is 67 minutes, baby. Everything you need to know is right there.
Roger,
you're out.
You're too hung up on time. And again, I'm going to go back to that. This Christmas, you're going to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, and
again, for the 30th time.
You understand.
Just stop.
You understand.
Just stop. Just don't do it. Just quit.
The other movie that's been added to that rotation now, too.
What?
Because Christmas is always Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then you cap it off with National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is great. But now,
That's not a horror movie.
but now there's another movie added. Can you guess what movie that possibly could be?
No, I have no idea. Roger.
Christmas movie that we talked about last year, and you absolutely
Krampus?
nope. Terrifier 3,
No.
which is just a beautiful Christmas movie.
Hate that movie.
Beautiful Christmas
Hate that
movie.
movie.
Wasn't that
Because
just
there's
gore?
What was that?
It was just gore.
It's just gore.
Oh, no.
That's all
The
it is.
themes,
In that,
there's
no
so many themes
no,
in here,
it's just
Jamie. It's so
garbage.
deep with the themes,
It's garbage.
you know, and the character development and everything is just amazing.
Yeah. The teen couple in the shower. They're
Which is
just
a great
showering
scene.
and making out in the shower, and he comes up with the chainsaw. Yeah, and he just,
Jamie, you have not seen Terrifier 3.
No, Jamie,
No.
don't watch this piece of garbage.
Well, no, because you need to start with Terrifier and get your understanding of Art the Clown, and then move into Terrifier 2, where you get the understanding of the Terrifier, and then part 3. And of course, part 4 is coming out sometime next year, they say. You can't keep a clown
Terrible,
down, baby.
terrible.
Gene, anything further to say about Frankenstein?
No, again, it's a great movie. You know, hopefully I didn't talk too much, but again, I really like, you know, the talking about the themes of God and, you know, how it affects our lives, because I think that's a topic that people, you know, I think are just too superficial about. You know, I think our society would be in much better shape if people really, really thought about God, their relationship with God, who God really is. What do I have to do to please this God? You know, what does the Bible really say? If we really delve deeper into what this thing says, we'd be in much better shape. Our country, our society. But no, we have treat God on a very superficial level. You know, like crazy people go on the pulpit and say all these asinine things, and we're all okay with that. So, yeah, enough talking. Yeah.
Jamie, anything final?
Well, Frankenstein has 2 titles. It's Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus, and I was trying to figure out like who would that Prometheus be, because Prometheus is the Greek titan who brought fire to humans. So then, like, would Victor be bringing life to the dead body, or would it be like the creature? I don't know. Just I'm trying to figure out just which one's which, because it could be either of them, I feel like.
Well, and one of the beauties, of course, of Mary Shelley's novel is the ambiguity of a lot of things, which is not evident here in this movie.
I feel like Victor needed to hear that he was the monster. I feel like it wasn't for us; it was for him to hear, because he needed that.
Because
not
he
us.
thought throughout the whole movie he had an air of just complete self-righteousness and arrogance, and he needed to hear. Yeah, that Jamie, you're right on. He needed to hear, and sometimes, and you just got to tell the truth to people, you know, and the truth got told to him, and he at the end he realized what he had done, and he tried to come to a peace with the creature he had created.
Well, he heard that, and then hunted him for probably months, and then he forgave him.
Well, he was on his deathbed, so death humbled him out finally.
True, yeah, and I mean, like, and after hearing his son's tale, that definitely humbled him out as well.
Right.
Well, and I
His
appreciate
sons, I like you said that. His
Gene
son.
talking about how the truth will come out, and of course, Terrifier 3 is great. The bottom line for me is, of course, you need to see this movie. I didn't like it. Never going to watch it again. Way too long. Gene,
I've
what are
already
we?
seen it a couple times. So.
What are we doing next week?
Like usual, we have not decided. So I don't know.
love
We'll
that.
figure something out.
Very good. Very good.
I'm not going to do Terrifier 4. I'm not
Well,
gonna
no,
do
it's
it.
not even out yet.
I'm not going to do
So-
it. When it comes out, I'm not going to do it.
All right.
No.
Jamie, thanks.
Because
for,
we saw that movie. We saw that piece of garbage.
Oh, and
They're not new. The 2, 3, 4. They're just like the first one. They're just.
oh no, they build on the lore as this movie goes along. The second one, where she enters into the Terrifier to get the sword, which is just talked about very briefly in the third
Sigh.
one. No,
That's
this
a
is
big
all
sigh.
good. And then, what happened? Did he really kill her brother, or is the brother somewhere else now? Can't wait to find out. On the edge of my seat to find out, actually. Jamie, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Always
yeah,
nice
Jamie,
to have
some
you.
great
Last
insights.
time
Thanks.
we had you on, I think was I saw the TV Glow
Yeah, I
or
saw the
whatever,
TV
which
Glow,
was
which
quite a
is-
long time ago.
I
Which
thought it was
is-
Sinners last.
What was? Oh, Sinners! Right. You
Which
were
was
on for
another great
Sinners.
movie, yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
I
Perfect.
won a
So
bunch of Oscars.
apparently, we only have Jamie on with really high quality films.
Yeah.
When we do Terrifier 4, we'll have you back.
Oh, poop.
No, you're not.
All right, we'll be back next week with something. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Thanks.